What's up, and welcome to episode 293 of First Geek 411. I'm your host, Cameron Franklin, and with me, as always, from West Coast, Best Coast, is Emma. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good. Can't complain. It's a good day.
Nice, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
This week, we're chatting Scarlett Johansson, Jurassic World Rebirth, and Summer Blockbusters. And of course, we will catch up on what we have been up to, because, Emma, I have watched some stuff. And so
Yeah,
I
you
am
have.
happy to report on some things. And so before we get into that, you can find us around the internet as OneGeek411. Check out our Discord server. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411 at gmail.com. Watch live on Twitch around 6:30 Mountain Time, as well as live on YouTube, where you can also find all of our VODs, including our book club from last week on the Teller of Small Fortunes. Um, and then you can also check out that Redbubble store. Emma, let's go. Let's start with you. What all have you been up to this past week?
A couple of fun things. I went to the movies myself over the weekend. I went and saw 28 Years Later, which is zombies. Classic zombies movie. Classic, as in like classic franchise. It was definitely a zombie movie. Some weird things happened. Some good things happened. Some more weird things happened. Um, as I told my friend who I went to it with, um, it wouldn't be a 28 Zombies Later movie if something weird didn't happen. Um, and it was a good movie. Pretty solid. And yeah, they're leaning a little bit into The Last of Us vibes with their zombies in the sense that there's like
Go
different
on.
stages. There's different stages of zombies now, or like different kinds of zombies now. Um, there's like a next step up kind of zombie. Um, they call them, they're not called zombies, but like there's another, you've got your basics, and then you've got ones that are more tough and faster and slightly smarter and things. Um,
That's
so
pretty
that's
cool.
interesting. Yeah. Um, it's much more niche zombie wise, but it was fun. It was a good time. I had pancakes for dinner tonight. That's nothing newsworthy. It just felt like fun to say
I
I
love
had
that you put
breakfast for
this on
dinner.
in the show notes.
I was craving pancakes earlier today and hadn't had pancakes in months. So I had pancakes for dinner. Just thought people would want to know that because you're an adult, you can make your own meal choices now. And sometimes that
On
just
that,
requires
Sneaky
making.
does say breakfast for dinner score.
Yeah.
Um, so we were chatting about this. I don't remember the last time I had pancakes. So chat, let us know when was the last time you had pancakes. If we inspire you to go get pancakes, also let us know that in the comment section. I went to
I had
brunch with a
pancakes an
friend of
hour
mine.
ago.
Yeah, you definitely win. If this was a board game where the first or the person who most recently ate pancakes got to go first, you would definitely go first. Please do not die as we are recording.
I will not
Um,
die.
um, Especially because I don't know your housemate's phone number, so I cannot call them to
Yeah.
help you.
Yeah.
Um, and Sneaky says 3 weeks ago. Nice. A couple weeks ago, I
Nice.
went to brunch with one of my friends in my Marvel game. He and I were just hanging out before the game, but I got biscuits instead of pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Still a good
before
choice.
that, I don't. They were great biscuits. But before that, I don't
Yeah.
remember what the last time I had even had the opportunity to have pancakes was. It might have been the last time I
Yeah.
was at that diner. Um,
Yeah.
but pancakes are amazing, as is breakfast for dinner.
As it's breakfast for dinner. And it was a great choice. I'm glad I made that decision to make pancakes for dinner. It was a good time. I have also spent more time this week playing Expedition 33. Not a lot because it's been a busy
Let's go.
week, but I'm still playing it and it's still a good time. Still a vibe. I now have and to the point where I went to the train station and I got that last playable character guy who's like one of the paintbrush people,
Mm-hmm.
kind of.
Yes.
And he's cool. And I'm a little past that. And it was a lot of fun. Um, now I'm just around collecting feet Because apparently he needs that to do his special thing,
Yeah.
which is odd, but okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a good
It
time.
is indeed a choice.
It is
Like
indeed a choice.
that.
Um,
Uh,
but I've seen weirder things in video games. So that's a good time. And then I played some Magic the Gathering yesterday, some Commander, for the first time in a long time. And I didn't win, but I survived. Spent most of the game trying to remember how to play and
mm-hmm.
trying to figure out how my Classic Who deck worked. And apparently, according to my friends, it's an insanely difficult deck to play.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'll
I'm
say for
just
people,
learning with a challenge one.
yeah, like the Doctor Who decks, as like the set of them, are probably the four most complicated decks, like precons
Yeah.
that they have made. Like there's way more
Yeah.
complicated like decks that players have built, but just in terms of like the precons, like those four are they're probably the top set in terms of complexity. Where like I have the
fully believe
13th
that.
Doctor one, and like I mean I've played Magic almost every day for the past like 14 years. And like
Yeah.
even in like the 13th Doctor deck, there's a lot of times where I'm like, I'm gonna not play this card because I just don't want to deal with the confusion of what it does right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. I was playing, it was a table of 5 of us, and I made it down to the last 2. There was just 2 of us left. In part because I had a friend helping me play my deck, and I was just like, ah. But the next time I play with him, he was going to loan me his dragon deck, where you just build dragons and then attack with dragons, and that's it. So, I don't know why I'm suddenly starting to cough, but yeah, that's been my week.
You're coughing because you made the mistake of drinking water, and that's how it gets you. Like, so for me, before I get into the things that I have watched, this past week was Madbird Book Club over in their Discord, so shout out to them. My book for this month was Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. People can go and check out our review and that. I'll do the hand wavy thing so that I can come find this later. And so, yeah, I got to talk about that book with them. Our themes for this month were LGBTQ, either authors or characters, or beautiful covers. And, of course, beautiful covers is subjective, but I would say Bury Our Bones fits both. And so, because I do really like the cover. And so, this coming month, their theme is new releases or ugly covers. And so we're just sticking with a new release because I think, as discussed before, I shop almost exclusively off of, is the cover interesting? And so, like, the idea of reading a book with, like, intentionally reading a book with an ugly cover is definitely something that is backwards for me. And so I'm excited for that. And I'm reading Oathbound, which is the 3rd book in the Legendborn series. That's my new release. It came out earlier this year. So it's not quite like the newest new release, but I'm finally reading it. So
nice.
And then I started playing and beat Jacint, which is a like kind of, it's intended to be like a relaxing climbing game where you are this person, you have this little like blob like pet thing that's super cute, and you are trying to climb to the top of this mountain tower thing. And it's kind of like rock climbing-esque where you can like hook in and be safe. And then if you like, you can jump and swing and do all kinds of stuff as you climb up this mountain. I think I beat it in like 3 sittings or 4 sittings. It's not a long game, but it's on PlayStation Plus Extra. And so I recommend that to people that have it. And then in the world of hype, this past week's Lorcana, I went undefeated for the 3rd time, which was very exciting. For people playing along at home, I have gone undefeated twice in the past 3 weeks. And then the one time that I didn't go undefeated, I lost in the final round. And so pretty happy with that or those results over the past couple weeks. We have Lorcana set champs coming up, not this weekend, but starting next weekend, which is kind of their like like competitive, non-competitive event. And so I'm going to be hopefully doing a handful of those. There's at least 3 in my area that I can pretty easily make. And so I will potentially also be doing a 4th. We'll see. But so far, I've been having a lot of fun and really enjoying my deck. And then, yeah, I'm excited to go and play it in Set Champs. And then getting into what I have been watching. Mentioned this previously. We finally started Arcane after just never watching it. And so
for however long.
we finished season 1. And I got to tell you, Emma, I would be upset with that finale if I couldn't immediately go into season 2. Like the sheer
I know.
like the sheer like cliffhanger, like edge of your seat moment at the end of season 1, no spoilers for what it is. Like it ending on that. And then if I would have had to like sit and wait for like a year and a half or whatever, I don't know how long it actually took.
People who saw the first season had to wait like 3 years. It was more like 3 years.
Like that's brutal.
Seasons. Yeah.
That's brutal. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, as I've said before, hey, I don't know if y'all have heard, it's a great show. And so
it's a fabulous show.
Yeah. We have started season 2. And so we're only 1 episode into season 2, but we have started that. And so really enjoying it. I'm excited to see where we're going. And then, as I've said before, like I played a lot of League of Legends in college, and it's been really cool because most of the characters in the show that are playable characters are the ones from when I played the game. There haven't been a lot of characters that I'm not recognizing that are playable.
Yeah.
And so it's been very cool to kind of have that as like my era of when I was playing.
Yeah.
And so, whereas like I still keep up some with like, especially for Worlds, I'll still watch some League of Legends, but like I don't keep up with like what characters are releasing when and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so it's been really cool to see those characters out and about. I'm refraining from looking up who appears in the show because I don't want to, I want to maintain my excitement if specific characters are going to be in it. And so
I think you've met everyone by this point who shows up just as a casual. Like, I don't think there's any new characters introduced at this point. Okay. New, quote unquote.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I will continue to report back on how it goes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going to get to any more of it this week, but I will continue to talk about that as it goes. And then, Emma, have you watched K-pop Demon Hunters?
No, I've been meaning to, but I've seen a lot about it on the internet.
Yes. So, watched this last night, and it is amazing. I need you to go watch it. And so
I will watch it tonight after podcast.
Yeah, it is furthering the meme that Sony Animated Pictures does not miss, and Sony Live Action has no clue what they're doing. Like, it is another insane hit. I believe it's the Into the Spider-Verse / Mitchells and the Machines people is what what was being posted. I would believe
that from what I've seen.
And it is so good. And it's a fun story. It's just over an hour and a half. So it's not even like a long watch, which I appreciated. Right. And so it's not like a 3-hour movie, but it's super fun. The character design is super cool. I love the you see this a lot with anime, but the idea of like everything at this school revolves around this specific thing. And it's kind of that idea of like everything in this world revolves around K-pop. And so it's super fun. Characters are really cool, very interesting story premise. And so definitely excited to hear what you think about it. And your general vibes as you get a chance to watch it. And so if you've seen it in chat, let me know who's your favorite character. What do you think of it? And then, it's very anime, very K-pop, and it's fantastic. So definitely recommend. And then the final thing that I watched, and I believe we talked, or this was mentioned last week, is that went and watched Jurassic World Rebirth this past weekend. And so, and I believe you said you're planning to go this week. So I'll do a very quick spoiler-free review. And that is that I enjoyed it. Like, it's a fun dinosaur movie that you should not think too hard about. Like, we were talking about this pre-show of like, I think it's funny that like the general consensus for Jurassic Park movies is that literally Jurassic Park is the only one that's good. And then like there are others
Everything
that are much better.
That is mid.
Yeah, but like none of the Jurassic Park sequels are considered good. Jurassic World, I think people generally enjoyed. I don't think anyone was out here being like, oh, it's a 10 out of 10. I think people generally enjoyed that. And then the Jurassic World sequels are just like, what are you even doing? And like this one as kind of like a soft spin-off / reboot is kind of doing its own thing there. Without getting into like full tier list territory, I think this is my third favorite Jurassic World movie behind Park and World. And so
amazing.
And so I'm definitely excited to hear what you think after you go and do it. You can do your own spoiler-free review unless we want to do a full spoiler cast next week, but we'll see. And we'll kind of talk about some of that in a later news topic, but yeah, I'm excited to hear what you think. Sneaky in chat says they watched on July 4th. Let me know what you thought. Again, spoiler free. Or if you do have spoiler things, you can post those over in the Discord.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think about anything else high level that I wanted to say. One of the things that I liked about this one compared to some of the other Jurassic World movies is it felt like the plot for this movie was exactly what I expected it to be. Good. Whereas like I feel like in some of the other Jurassic World, especially movies, there's been some weird juke of like, what is the plot about? And this one it is exactly this. Like, and so I enjoyed that.
Yeah. The thing with the Jurassic Park World movies is that people just like their dinosaur movies. Straight dinosaur movies. I mentioned this beforehand to you. But the thing is, no other studio is going to make a straight up dinosaur movie because they know they cannot compete with the Jurassic Park franchise, and they know all they're going to get is comparisons to the Jurassic Park franchise. Right. Like, yeah, everything beyond Jurassic Park is going to be iffy and not very good, but they still do insanely well. Mm-hmm. So other studios are just like, there's no point. Like, yeah, they do well, but it's because it's like we can't go up against Jurassic Park. So yeah, I just find that funny.
I say this as someone who did not see this movie. I would like to see them do like Godzilla -1 type thing for Jurassic Park. Of like, I'd be super interested in like, what does a like low budget like Jurassic Park movie look like, and get back to like some of the other filming techniques and stuff like that, kind of like what what Godzilla -1 was praised for. And like I said, I still need to go watch that because I've only heard great things, but I missed it in theaters. And so yeah, I'd be really curious about that, of like, get us like a different take, whether that's like literally like Jurassic Park -1, or rather if that is something that is just like, hey, this is another dinosaur movie, but kind of an homage to Jurassic Park. I'd be super interested in that because, to your point, I think it's crazy that like in like, we'll talk about them in a later news topic, but in the world of like superheroes, we always have DC versus Marvel. And then even with those, you have all of the other things. Like Amazon has Invincible, and then also and The Boys, and then you also had Umbrella Academy, which is not like superheroes in the same sense, but like is a superhero thing. Like you have all of these different things, but for like dinosaurs, it's really Jurassic Park and like obviously
Maybe
Godzilla
the
is like
occasional
dinosaur-esque, but like not a
low
dinosaur.
budget TV show, but
Yeah.
you know,
I do think it's weird
it's
that there's
just
not like,
Jurassic Park.
yeah. But yeah, so that's spoiler-free thoughts on that. Let's jump into our news topics because, spoiler alert, we're kind of just keeping this train rolling as we go into our topics. So Emma, what do you have for us this week?
Speaking of Jurassic World releases, Scarlett Johansson is now the highest grossing lead actor after the release of Jurassic World Rebirth. She has surpassed fellow MCU stars Samuel L. Jackson and Robert Downey Jr. With a $318 million. Well, that's the opening for Jurassic World. And she's just killing it with her career, and it's super cool. She's just out here taking names and kicking butt, and we're so proud of her. She has been in things like The Jungle Book, Sing, and Lucy, and Jurassic World Rebirth is her most recent thing to come out because it just came out, and it's pushed her to the top, and it's great. And yeah,
I'm really excited for this. Like, this is such great news for her. Like,
yeah,
obviously ScarJo has been in so many things over the years, and so it's crazy to like look at her filmography and just like not just, and like I'd say like not just been in, but like been a major like lead or co-lead in so many different things.
Yep. Had a major role in each of those.
Yeah.
She has a lifetime career box office gross of $14.6 billion with a B in films.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was Jackson. But now Johansson has surpassed that with $4.8 billion. So, yeah, it's great. She managed to surpass both Jackson and Downey with just 36 films in comparison to their 71 and 45 movies. So, it's really cool. And yeah, congrats to her. It's exciting. Again, I haven't seen this movie yet, but I'm excited to see her in it, and it's gonna be cool.
Yeah. And then, as Sneaky points out, like she's obviously also leaned in so much to geeky things lately. I say lately.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I hate doing release math, but MCU is like almost 20 years old. And so like, and she's been there since Iron Man 2, but like, it's really cool to see like that, like this idea that like geeky things are profitable. And like, we're seeing like, obviously Jurassic Park has been a thing for so long. Like she's missing her, Star Wars, but, but it's
her
super cool to see her
pure science fiction franchise.
Yeah.
Star Wars, Star Trek is more TV than movie, but I'm sure something will come along that she'll hop onto. So
but great for her, big congratulations. And then people in chat, comment section, let us know what's your favorite Scarlett Johansson movie. Drop that in the chat, or favorite role, if not like it's still like, oh, I like her as this part, even if you don't necessarily like the movie as a whole. What do you think? And so, and then kind of with that, we will jump over and kind of segue again to a very similar conversation. I hit the wrong button, which is with the release of Jurassic World Rebirth, we are in Blockbuster July, where we have our first of our 3 major films across the fandoms with Jurassic World Rebirth. And then we have Superman releases this week. And then later in the month, we have Fantastic Four First Steps. And so I did want to call out, you mentioned the Jurassic World or 318 million box office for opening weekend. Of that, 147 million is domestic over the 4th of July weekend. And so, just as a reference point for other people, which is fantastic for them. And so I am very excited for this month film-wise. And like, this is the reason that we might not do a Jurassic World spoiler cast, is because I might really want to talk about Superman next week. And so
that is valid.
Yeah. And so we'll see. Our topic here kind of like spirals out of a question that Deanna asked me while we were at the theater for Jurassic World, which is this, like, which one are you more excited for between like Superman or Fantastic Four? And so I'll let you think about it. I do want you to answer this question.
I already know my answer.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
If you want to know it.
And so, yeah, go ahead.
Fantastic Four. I'm more of a Fantastic Four person than a Superman person, because I'm more of a Marvel person than I am a DC person. They're both on equal ground, though, in terms of releases, because they're both remakes of remakes or whatever. So, but also my work has been shoving Superman down our throats for the past 3 weeks now. So I'm just like, enough with Superman. Give me a Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat of like, my love of Marvel has been well noted as I'm rocking my Spider-Man hat. And so I, like, while I enjoy the Jurassic Park movies, they're almost all of them are movies that I have seen once, really enjoyed, and then never watched again, other than the very first one. Like, there's, I don't necessarily go back and rewatch them, just because it's not like one of my big fandoms. And so, whereas Marvel, even many of the not as great Marvel movies, I have watched multiple times. Just because I'll put them on in the background while I'm doing stuff. It's that meme, I'm sure you have seen it, of the like, I'm going to just put this on while I clean. And then it's like the person standing in front of the TV with the vacuum. I'm 100% that person.
That was me cleaning my room earlier.
Yeah. And like, one of my plans for this week is I want to take all of my board games out of this room and then like reorganize them and then put them back in on shelves in like a more like meaningful fashion. And I fully anticipate putting a Marvel movie on while I do that and then spending a lot of time watching the Marvel movie. And so, because of that, I am like using that as emblematic. I'm definitely more excited for Fantastic Four. It is also no mystery that the Fantastic Four have been done dirty. And so I am very interested in what it looks like when you're not just making a Fantastic Four movie to maintain the rights, but you're making the movie because you want to bring these characters into the MCU. And so I am very excited and interested in what that means. And then this kind of goes for both Fantastic Four and Superman, but both of these are also like specific parts of their IPs that I've never really cared about. Like, I've never found the Fantastic Four super engaging as characters, which is kind of weird. Just like I just never really connected with the stuff that I've read them in. And then I have never really been a Superman fan. Like, I didn't watch a lot of Smallville. I've probably only seen less than 5 episodes ever. And like, while I have enjoyed many a Superman performance, like, I would not really say that any of those films have made me super excited for the character. Now, all of that said, the asterisk here is I really like James Gunn's filmmaking. And like, I think we've talked about this before. And so like, I'm definitely in the like cautiously optimistic, just because he made us care about a CGI raccoon.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like, and a CGI tree.
Guardians.
Like, yeah, exactly. And like Guardians is so good. The Suicide Squad is very good as well. Like, and so like him like taking the helm of Superman has me really excited. Like, I think I showed this before. I went and bought one of the collections that he has, like comic collections that he has cited as one of the sources for this movie. I have not read it yet. I intended to read it, and then now it's been too close to the movie, and so I don't want to read it going into the movie. And so, so at this point, I'll probably read it next week after I've seen the movie. And so, but yeah, I'm very interested. And then of course, I'm always interested in like the story of what's going on with this idea of like, well, this is the start of James Gunn's DCU. Yeah. And like, what does it mean that not just this is Superman in the James Gunn directing a Superman movie, but this is potentially the Iron Man of DC.
The DCU. Yeah.
Like this could be like the cornerstone that the rest of this like DC is built off of, especially with having someone like and I forget the co-creative
this kind of thing.
Yes. And like I forget the co-creative director's name that's also working with Gunn on this, but like we also know that a lot of the DCEU did not have a plan. Like there was a lot of like, there was not a overall connection goal or language or things like that. And like, you see those, I believe one of the big examples.
With a beast like this.
Yeah. And it's like having someone, and even if it's something that like 99% of people don't pay attention to, like the fact that they're talking about these movies and then like other projects of like, oh, we're going to tell cool, like random side stories that are not going to connect. And those are going to be our Elseworld stories. But like, then we're going to have these other stories that are going to be our like main in universe. This is the connection pieces that we're going to see. I'm very excited to see what this could mean. And how this could connect us, and so into those bigger things, especially because like Iron Man 1 as our example was very rooted in like, really it's just Iron Man. Like, and it isn't even really until Hulk comes out that we really get the idea that these films are actually connected. And even then that's just like a post-credit scene. Yeah. Like, but for this, we're starting in such an already populated DC universe with like deep cut Guy Gardner as our Green Lantern. Like, the person who plays Dina is playing Hawkgirl. Like, this, like, we have this like already populated universe. So like, I'm really interested to see like what is that going to mean when it comes to like this franchise going forward. In chat, Sneaky says, I agree. I'm more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan as well. We'll still go see Superman and hopefully enjoy it. We were talking about this pre-show because I was trying to find a good number for pre-sales for Superman and see where it was sitting. But everything I could find was either right when they came out, or it was stuff of like, rumor, ticket sales have slowed down. And so like, there wasn't really any like great, useful. Like, from what numbers I could find. But I do want to say, I believe screeners for Superman are tomorrow. If not
that would
tonight.
Sound right. Yeah.
And so we will start to get impressions from like major personalities coming out soon, and that's when we'll start to be able to get reviews and stuff like that of what people think. And so I'm curious to what that will mean when it comes to either pre-sales or opening weekend sales of like, I'm definitely curious after how well Jurassic World has done. of like, what does opening weekend for Superman look like? Is it going to be the rising tides raise all ships of like Jurassic World got people to go to the theater and now they're excited to go back because the reviews say this is a great Superman movie? Or is it going to be, well, like Jurassic World just takes all the sales because people are excited to go see that and they're not really as like into Superman stuff. And so I'm really curious to what that's going to look like. So accounting for like same amount of time. So say we check back in or after all of these films have finished their theatrical run. Which one do you think ends up with the highest box office? We're not going to like guess a number, but like, what do you think ends with the highest box office?
Based on entirely just career industry knowledge, I would probably guess Jurassic World. Because there's still a lot of superhero fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to guess more generally, I would say it's between Jurassic World and Fantastic Four.
I'm in a similar boat with my caveat being, I think Jurassic World will take global box office.
Yeah.
And then I think domestically, Fantastic Four will do better.
Yeah.
And so
I think Superman, no matter what, is going to be at the bottom of these three. Like, I think it'll still do pretty well, but I think people are excited for this reboot of Fantastic Four in a way that they aren't excited about for this reboot of Superman.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think building off that, I think the story will be, wow, Fantastic Four did so well. And like, while Superman didn't beat it, it did great. I think is going to kind of be the story.
Absolutely.
And it's just going to be like, hey, like I love James Gunn's social media posts. Some people were like, Superman has to make $700 million to break even. And and James Gunn was like, y'all need to calm down. And I just think that's so funny. And but yeah, so I think that that's going to be like the story there is there's going to be a lot of questions, not around like the quality of Superman, but just that you're going to see a lot of headlines that like Fantastic Four beats Superman, but Superman sets a great foundation for James Gunn's DC. I think that's going to be the vibe. And then people are going to be like, yep, Jurassic Park dominated in the global box office.
Yeah.
It did Jurassic World things.
No one.
And so, speaking of that, I was reading this article. This is the one that I got some of the domestic numbers for. And did you know that the original Jurassic Park grossed $924 million when it came out? Like almost $1 billion in 1993.
I think I did know that.
Like, I did not.
Because I think I remember reading that it did so much better than they were expecting it to do. Like, it was one of those movies that the studio was willing to take a risk on because it was Spielberg, and who had proven himself 10 times over in the past, like before that. And then even then, it did better than he thought or something.
Yeah.
So.
Like, that's crazy to me. Like, I was reading, it's this from CNN's, like, almost $2 billion adjusted for inflation. Like, that is wild. Insane.
Yeah.
And, according to a quick Google, that was on a budget of $63 million.
Yeah, it had a tiny budget for.
That is insane.
I mean, even with inflation, Like,
Yeah.
I assume that's before inflation or after inflation.
That is just what
It
Google says. And so I would assume
Great.
not adjusted for inflation.
Either way, in my general guesstimation of after inflation, that's still tiny for a movie budget.
Yeah.
And my guess is most of that went to the T-Rex robot.
Yeah.
So, well, that and the Raptors.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy. Like we talked about this a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, of like there are so many of these films from like either when like we were young or like pre alive, and it's just like there's like no context for like what that what is like. Obviously like we know Jurassic Park is a big deal, and Jurassic Park has been a big deal for like most of our lives.
Even by today's standards, it's a big deal.
Yeah. And it is just crazy to like look at those and be like, oh, did not realize like how crazy this was in the box office, even though of course I knew it was crazy. Like, yeah, it's very interesting to see. And I'm very interested to see what this month is going to shake out as with these three heavy hitters. And like, again, like we're not getting like a Barbenheimer here. We're
we're just
both
getting
those
a
movies
classic
came out
summer.
Yeah.
It's a classic summer blockbuster year.
Yeah. And I'm super curious if that's going to like shake out to I had to ban a bot. That's why I'm forgetting. If that's going to shake out to them cannibalizing each other in sales, or again, if that's going to be like the rising tides lift all ships of like, because I know we've talked about that before, and this is also kind of true for superhero fatigue as a whole. But this idea that like, hey, if you give people consistent reasons to go to the theaters and make it worth their time, like I'm a big believer that people will actually go. But if people are continually disappointed or it's continually being too expensive, then people will just stop going and continually wait for streaming. And so I'm very curious here if this is going to be something that kind of either proves or disproves that theory in terms of like these three big movies. Again, asterisk, assuming that they're all as good as they at least look to be, based on initial box office for Jurassic World and then vibes for Superman and Fantastic Four. So, but I was thinking I had another question for us on these films, but I actually can't remember what it was. So I guess we will be done with that topic and go on to our announcements. And so, one sneaky topic here. We're working on something. And so, hopefully in August, and hopefully before August, we'll talk about what it is. But hopefully in August, we will be rolling out something new and exciting. More information to come soon. And so, something that we've been talking about for a while. Yeah. And so, I'm hoping next week to be able to talk about it.
I love this new thing. Yeah. I love doing this thing.
And so, and then last week at Book Club, we announced that our summer theme was going to be Banned Book Summer. People remember that for summer we have done Graphic Novel Summer, and then we have done Hefty Tome Summer, and then now we are doing Banned Book Summer. And so I'm excited for this. And so Shanine always comes up with great ideas. And so doing this banned books, we just announced this in our Discord literally right before we started. But our book for July will be The Freedom Writer's Diary by Aaron Gruwell, and that'll be on July 28th. And so also shout out to me for having The Freedom Writer's Diary by The Freedom Writers unless that's the
I mean,
actual thing, and I'm just confused.
does in a way work. Basically, the format of it is she was a teacher, an English teacher, and she
Mm-hmm.
had all of her high school students write diary entries over the course of their high school years that would then go into this book. So it's a nonfiction.
Okay. And
So there's contributions from
yeah,
students.
and my copy and paste is correct. It is the Freedom Writers. Like I thought I had messed up, but it is the Freedom Writers Diary by the Freedom Writers. And then yeah, Aaron, as you're saying, is kind of the like editor, like collector of it. And so I assumed I had made the mistake, but that is the name of it. And so
it's more of a collection. Just it's all diary entries from teenagers. I think in like 1993 or something. It's an older book, but it's cool. Shanine and I were both looking at it separately from each other, and it seemed like such a cool idea for a book.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm super interested. I mentioned this in our book club, but I love the theme of banned books. And then we have also already been talking about what our August book is going to be. And I'm just saying Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is banned in several states. So
I don't think we can do the same book twice in under 12 months.
like, I mean, counteroffer. We do Invisible Life of Addie LaRue because I do have my new print copy that I have not read yet that I need to read. And so I say new. I got this actually the same time I got Oathbound, and I have just not started it yet. And so, but yeah, we will not be doing Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, much to my chagrin. But
I do like your pitch in our group chat.
Yes,
I tried. It's been a while. I
tried.
A big fan of his in high schools. So
yeah. So we are talking potentially. No, I'm forgetting the title. Doing Looking for Alaska by John Green for August.
Yeah.
And so we will see if that's what we actually end up doing or if there's some other ideas. Unfortunately, there's a lot of banned books. And so as we kind of try to find one. Yeah. And so we'll see kind of where we land for August. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. This is one, the Freedom Writers Diary I feel like is one I have heard about, but I am going in with like no background other than you and Shanine were both like, I'm interested in this one. And I'm like, works for me. And so, as someone who has had several times where I've been like, well, I would prefer this book. And then I was the one that chose poorly. So, I'm very excited. For us to go in and have a chance to look at this book. And then, I'm excited for banned books as a whole for the summer. People will recall that Hefty Tome Summer was indeed an event that occurred. And so I anticipate
Mr.
this
Norrell
being
or whatever. And
Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell was our Hefty Tome.
It was a major flop, and
did not land.
Whenever I break into my storage unit and sort through all my books, that's one that is definitely going to the Goodwill or wherever.
Yeah. And so I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to see where it's going to go. And then I hope people come and either read along or come hang out with us as we chat banned books. But yeah. With that, let's go ahead and head into our post-show chat. Of course, before we get into it and officially wrap, as a reminder, you can find us around the internet as First Geek 411. You can check us out on Discord. Shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. Check out the Redbubble store. Check us out on Twitch, where you can like, comment, and subscribe. And then find our videos over on YouTube, where you can like, comment, and subscribe. And let us know your favorite ScarJo movie. Let us know what you're excited about for summer blockbusters. You give us spoiler-free thoughts on Jurassic World, all that kind of stuff. And then you can find us around the internet at our personal social media. Mine is Humar Whittill.
Mine is I am not prepared with an I in the prepared.
And it's been a great week.
Go watch a movie.
I was going to say, go watch a summer blockbuster, because I don't know what else.